What if I told you that the key to unlocking your full potential doesn't come from following all the rules, but from questioning them? Sounds crazy, right? But stick with me. In a world where we're constantly told how to think, what to do, and where to go, pragmatic curiosity is the game changer you've been missing. You see, curiosity isn't just for the dreamers or the philosophers. It's a power tool for those who want real results, real change, and real success. In this video, we're going to dive deep into how asking the right questions and challenging the status quo can actually skyrocket your progress, whether in your career, personal life, or anything else. You're about to learn how embracing a pragmatic approach to curiosity can break you out of the cycle of mediocrity. So, if you're tired of playing it safe and want practical, actionable insights that get results, stick around. Trust me, what you'll discover today will make you look at everything differently. Let's get into it. Number 1. Break the rules to break through. Have you ever felt like you're stuck in a loop, playing by the rules everyone swears by, yet never really getting anywhere? Here's the thing. Sometimes the very rules we cling to are the ones holding us back. Sounds rebellious, doesn't it? But think about it. Every revolutionary idea, every groundbreaking achievement began with someone saying, "What if we did it differently?" You know that moment when you're working on something, maybe a big project at work or a personal goal, and someone tells you, "This is how it's always been done." That phrase, while comforting to some, can feel like a cage to anyone with a spark of curiosity. We've all been there, hesitating to challenge the status quo because, well, what if it backfires? But let's flip the script for a moment. What if staying silent, staying in line is the bigger risk? Here's the unconventional idea. To truly break through, you've got to question the rules, not blindly follow them. Now, I'm not saying go out and start ignoring traffic lights or skipping your bills. This is about being strategic. Think of rules not as absolutes, but as suggestions, some helpful, some outdated, and some just plain wrong for you. The key is knowing which ones to challenge. Let me share a quick story. A friend of mine, let's call him Ali, was stuck in a soul-sucking job. The rulebook said, stick it out, climb the ladder, stability matters more than happiness. But Ali wasn't one for ladders, he was a builder at heart. One day, he broke the rule. He quit without a backup plan, against all advice. Scary, right? But here's what happened next. He used that fear to fuel his passion for woodworking. Today, he runs a thriving business, making custom furniture. Breaking the rule didn't just change his career, it gave him his life back. Breaking the rules isn't about being reckless. It's about reclaiming your freedom to think, question, and choose. It's about realizing that rules are tools, not chains. When you stop blindly obeying them, you open yourself to possibilities you never imagined. You'll feel lighter, more in control, and maybe for the first time, like you're living on your terms. So, here's your takeaway. Don't let the rules define you. Challenge them, rewrite them, break through them. Your space, your peace, your dignity, they're all worth fighting for. And trust me, the world won't crumble if you color outside the lines. In fact, you might just create a masterpiece. Number 2, reverse engineer the impossible. Here's a thought that might shake you up a bit. Every impossible thing you've ever admired, every innovation, every towering success, every mind-blowing achievement wasn't actually impossible. It just looked that way until someone decided to take it apart piece by piece and figure out how to make it happen. Sounds bold, doesn't it? But stay with me. What if the secret to doing the impossible isn't brute force or genius? What if it's about working backward? Think about it. We've all faced a challenge that seemed too big to handle. Maybe it was a career goal, like landing your dream job, or something personal, like running a marathon when you can barely jog a mile. In those moments, the whole thing feels overwhelming, like staring up at a mountain without knowing where the trail starts. You tell yourself, this is impossible. I don't even know where to begin. And then you freeze. Sound familiar? But here's the twist. You don't have to start at the beginning. You start at the end. Picture the result, what it looks like, what it feels like, and then ask yourself, what would have to happen right before this point? Then go further back. What step comes before that, and before that? Suddenly, that towering mountain isn't one massive obstacle anymore. It's a series of smaller, manageable steps, like puzzle pieces waiting to be assembled. Let me tell you about my friend Sarah. She wanted to write a book, a lifelong dream, but she had no idea where to begin. The thought of writing hundreds of pages was paralyzing. So we tried something different. We started with the end. What's the last thing readers should feel after finishing the book? From there, we worked backward. The conclusion, the key chapters, the themes, even the first line. It wasn't about creating something perfect. It was about creating a clear path. You know what happened? Sarah didn't just write her book. She published it in under a year. This idea works because it shifts your perspective. Instead of focusing on how far away the goal seems, you focus on the steps you can take. It's not magic. It's logic, paired with action. And let's be real, who wouldn't want a little logic when life feels chaotic? So, if you're staring down something that feels impossible right now, try this. Visualize the end. Break it down into its smallest parts. Reverse engineer it. This isn't about shortcuts or tricks. It's about clarity and momentum. And when you do this, you'll notice something amazing. That overwhelming, impossible thing, it starts to feel doable, achievable, I dare say, inevitable. Remember, the only real limit is the one you set in your mind. The impossible isn't a wall, it's a maze. And when you reverse engineer it, you'll find your way out, your vision, your steps, your success. Number 3, ask the forbidden questions. Let me tell you something that might sound a little uncomfortable. Some of the best answers you'll ever get in life will come from the questions no one wants to ask. I know, this might feel like a bit of a rebellious idea. But trust me on this one, asking the forbidden questions can actually open doors you never knew were there. Now you might be thinking, why would I ask something that could get me into trouble? And I get it. There are certain questions we're taught to avoid. The ones that make people uncomfortable, that rock the boat. But here's the thing. Those are usually the very questions that lead to growth, change, and breakthrough moments. Think about it. Every major shift in history happened because someone dared to ask, why not? Or what if? So what if you started asking those questions in your own life? We've all been there, right? We've all had that feeling when something just doesn't sit right, when things don't make sense, or when you're stuck in a situation that feels off, but you're too afraid to speak up. Maybe it's at work, where you see a process that could be improved, but no one else is willing to challenge it. Or maybe it's in a personal relationship, where you're walking on eggshells, afraid to voice an uncomfortable truth. You know the type. The ones who keep their thoughts to themselves, nodding along because it's easier than causing a stir. But what if, just for a moment, you decided to ask the tough questions? Here's a strategy that'll change the game. Instead of letting these thoughts fester, ask them out loud. Why does the process have to be this way? What is really driving this decision? Why are we settling for good enough when we could be striving for better? Now, before you think this sounds like an invitation for chaos, hear me out. It's not about being rude or disrespectful. It's about challenging assumptions and inviting new perspectives. When you ask the forbidden questions, you're not only clarifying your own thoughts, you're opening up the conversation for others who might be afraid to ask the same things. Let me tell you about a time when I dared to ask a forbidden question. I was in a meeting where everyone seemed content with a project proposal that just didn't feel right to me. The plan wasn't bad, but I could see obvious flaws, things that could have been done better. I wanted to ask, why are we settling for this? But the room felt so confident that I hesitated. Then I thought, why not? So I spoke up. The room went silent for a second, but then we began to break down the proposal. We found real opportunities for improvement, and what started as a question turned into a much better outcome for the project. I wasn't being disruptive, I was being constructive. This is where the power lies. When you ask the forbidden questions, you take ownership of your growth and your environment. You stop hiding behind the polite silence and start owning your space. It's not about being confrontational. It's about being curious and brave enough to see beyond the surface. And in doing so, you create the space for others to do the same. So, if you're feeling stuck or uncertain right now, ask the questions you've been avoiding. Don't let fear hold you back from finding clarity, truth, or the answers that will move you forward. It's your space, your peace, and your dignity that are at stake. Own them. Ask the forbidden questions, and let the answers lead you to a place of growth and possibility. Number 4. Fail first to succeed. Faster. Here's a counterintuitive idea. If you want to succeed faster, you need to fail first. I know this sounds like the exact opposite of what you've been taught, right? We've all been raised with the notion that failure is something to avoid at all costs. But what if I told you that failure isn't the end, it's the beginning? Yes, trust me on this one. Failing early, failing fast, and failing often is actually one of the best strategies for success. Now, before you start thinking, that sounds like an excuse to mess up, hear me out. You know that feeling when you're so afraid to fail that you hesitate to even try. Or maybe you're stuck in the perfect planning cycle where you endlessly tweak and adjust because you're scared of making a mistake. We've all been there, stuck in this paralyzing state of perfectionism, thinking that if we just get everything right, success will magically appear. But that's not how it works. Perfection is a myth, and it only holds you back. Here's the truth. Failure isn't something that happens when things go wrong. Failure happens when you don't take action. You can plan all you want, but until you step into the arena and make a few mistakes, you'll never truly learn how to win. Failing fast means you get the feedback you need quickly, so you can course correct, learn, and grow in real time. Think of it like learning to ride a bike. You're not going to figure it out by reading about it. You're going to fall a few times, and that's exactly how you get better. Let me tell you about a time when I put this into practice. A while ago, I started a side project. I had no clue what I was doing, but I had a vision. I dove right in, and of course, things went wrong. The first version of my product was a mess. Nothing worked the way I imagined. Instead of beating myself up or abandoning the whole thing, I took a deep breath and asked myself, what did I learn from this? I made adjustments, tried again, and slowly the product started taking shape. Fast forward to today, and that same project is one of my biggest successes. But it never would have happened if I hadn't failed fast and often. When you embrace failure, you stop fearing it. You stop seeing it as something personal or catastrophic. Instead, you start seeing it as a teacher, a necessary step on the path to success. And let's be honest, that's a much healthier mindset. When you fail first, you get the insights you need to succeed faster. You've already faced the worst-case scenario, so everything that comes after that feels like smooth sailing. So here's the takeaway. Don't be afraid to fail early. Fail first, fail often, and fail fast. Each failure is simply a stepping stone toward success. And when you do succeed, because you will, you'll realize that the journey you took, with all its bumps and bruises, was actually the fastest route to getting where you wanted to be. Your success is just waiting for you. Don't let the fear of failure stand in your way. Number 5. Curiosity as a weapon. What if I told you that the most powerful weapon you have isn't strength, intelligence, or even experience, but curiosity? I know it sounds like a strange claim, doesn't it? We're so used to thinking of weapons as physical or something that requires technical skill, but curiosity, that's not something you typically hear about in the same breath. But trust me on this, curiosity is one of the most underrated tools in your arsenal, and when used right, it can absolutely transform your life. Now you might be thinking, how can asking questions really make that much of a difference? Well, think about it this way. Curiosity is the antidote to ignorance. It's what keeps you sharp, always questioning, always seeking more. We've all been there, caught up in the rush of life, doing things by habit, following the same routine, responding to the same problems the same way. But what if, just for a second, you let curiosity take over? What if you started questioning everything? You know the type, the people who just go through the motions. They accept things as they are without asking, why does it have to be this way? Or, what if there's a better way? I used to be one of those people. I'd follow the crowd, do things the same way as everyone else, and wonder why I wasn't seeing the results I wanted. But once I flipped the switch and started asking questions, real, probing questions, everything changed. Curiosity isn't just about asking questions. It's about finding answers in places no one else is looking. It's about seeing opportunities in problems, solutions in obstacles. When you adopt curiosity as your weapon, you start to look at situations differently. For example, a few months ago, I was stuck in a professional rut. My job felt stagnant, and I was doing the same tasks over and over. Instead of just accepting it, I started asking myself, why am I still here? And what can I do to make this work for me? That question sparked a whole new approach. I began seeking out new challenges, learning new skills, and finding ways to add value that no one had even thought of before. The result? I got promoted. Curiosity led me to where I wanted to be. When you use curiosity as a weapon, you stop taking things at face value. You start asking questions that challenge the status quo. You learn to seek opportunities where others see only problems. And here's the best part. Curiosity doesn't just give you information, it gives you power. It empowers you to make better decisions, to uncover truths, and to see beyond the surface. It takes you from being a passive observer to an active participant in your own life. So, if you're feeling stuck, unsure, or even just bored with the routine, take a moment and ask yourself, what am I missing? What's really going on here? Curiosity isn't just for the nosy types. It's for anyone who wants to break free from the limitations that keep them in the same place. It's a way to reclaim your space, your growth, and your success. Embrace curiosity as your weapon and watch how it transforms your world. It's your secret weapon for success, and no one can take that away from you. The more you ask, the more you learn, and the faster you move toward where you want to be. Your curiosity is your power. Use it wisely. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video gave you some fresh insights and practical tools to harness the power of pragmatic curiosity in your life. If you found this valuable, please give it a thumbs up. It helps more than you know. And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this, where we dive into real strategies that can truly make a difference. If you know someone who would benefit from this video, share it with them. You never know. It might just be the spark they need. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and let me know how you've used curiosity in your own life, or share any personal experiences you have. Let's keep this conversation going and support each other in our growth. Remember, the questions you ask today are the keys to the success of tomorrow. Stay curious, stay bold, and keep pushing boundaries. Until next time.